What's up, everybody? Today I want to talk to you about getting your amateur radio license. Okay, pretty simple to do once you figure out the process. It is a process, but it's not that hard. It's not that hard once you figure it out. First of all, there's 3 types of licenses, and you have to go in order. You got your technician license, which gives you bands like 2 meter, 440, we also call that 70 centimeter, gives you 10 meter, gives you 6 meter, what other thing I can't remember, but those are the main ones that people use. I think you got 220 on there, I believe, something like that. Don't get me lying, but I'm supposed to know this, right? Because I've been a ham radio operator for a long time. But yeah, you got your technician license, and that's what you have for, you know, if you hear people that do storm spotting, they do, you know, you hear repeaters and stuff like that. Most of those people you hear are on 2 meter, and you have to have a technician. Now that's the lowest class. That's the lowest class of ham radio operator that you have to do. You have to do that test first, no matter what. Okay, your second level is your general class. That's what I am. That gives you HF privileges. Okay, you'll be able to talk on HF frequencies. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them, where the majority of the traffic is. And you're allowed to join a VE team, and you're allowed to test for technician. Now, just because you're a VE doesn't mean you get to test for upgrades. You can only test people who are technicians, or going to be technicians. You can't test people to upgrade. And then your third class, your highest class, is your extra. That's your extra class, and they get all the band privileges, you know, that the FCC allows us to have. So if you're wanting to get in those quieter frequencies with less people, you gotta have your extra, okay, your extra class. And the thing about an extra class is that you could test all ham radio operators. So, like, not only can you test people to get their first initial license to be a technician, but you could test people to do their upgrades to general or extra. So that's an advantage that a lot of people have. If I was to ever, me personally, if I was to ever get an extra class license, that's really the main reason why I would do it, is to help people upgrade. Because as far as the frequencies and stuff goes, I mean, where I'm going to talk anyways, where the people are at. So anyways, so there you go. There's your 3 levels of amateur radio. To get to these levels, you got to pass a test, and what you'll have to do is find a radio club in your area. Okay, you Google that, amateur radio clubs, you know, put your county in there, or the city that you live in, and you'll have a list of stuff close to you, in or around you. If you're out in the boondocks, you may have to drive. But for the most part, amateur radio is still pretty active around most areas. It shouldn't be hard for you to find a radio club. Now, not all radio clubs have volunteer examiners. They don't all have VEs. But if they don't, they could point you in a direction where you can. So now that you've got, you know, where you're going to test, now you got to practice for your test. Now, you could go to different websites to help. There's all sorts of study material all over the internet. What you could do, you could purchase things from arrl.org. You could also take practice tests on both arrl.org and qrz.com, or as we say, qrz.com, or you could take practice tests. And in those practice tests, you'll find the question and the answers that you will find on the test. So, I'm not saying go out there and memorize the questions and answers. but that helps, okay? Especially if you're not really familiar with something, okay? But I suggest is to study it, get to know it. That way you become, well, it's a hobby. That way you're knowledgeable in it, okay? That way you're just not a plug and play. I'm kind of a plug and play, but at least I kind of know a little bit what I'm talking about. Once you have gotten your testing, done your practice tests, and all your studying done, you're ready to take your test, you go set it up, and you'll have 3 VEs administer a test to you. You take that test, and if you pass it, they'll send it in to just depends on who their testing people are. A lot of times it's different organizations. A lot of times it's ARRL.org, and they deal with the FCC for you, and they'll give you a call sign. Usually within 5 days, they'll give you a call sign, and then you're able to talk on amateur radio. Now, you got to have a radio. Okay, you gotta have a radio. And for you truckers out there, I'm gonna suggest a radio. This is not sponsored or anything. This is just from personal use. I like this Kenwood. Okay, this Kenwood. This is a TM281. Okay, it's a Kenwood TM281. And the thing about this, what makes this, the reason why I like it is because it's easy to program. It's easy to navigate through if you're in a mobile, okay? I'm a Yaesu guy myself. I love Yaesu radios, but the thing about Yaesus is there's a lot of menus that you have to go through. With Kenwood, they make it pretty easy. So for a good starter radio, this Kenwood TM281 is a good starter radio, and but it's only 2 meters. It's only 2 meters, so you're not going to be able to do anything else. If you're not interested in that, you just want to get something smaller, you can get you a handy talkie. Now this is a Yaesu FT60. Nice little handy talkie here. This does both 2 meter and 440. And the only problem with this is, well, it's a handy talkie and it runs off a battery and you got to charge it, and it only does so many watts, and you only have that little antenna. Where with this, you're going to plug it into a bigger antenna, whether it be around the house or to your car or truck or whatever you have, and you'll be able to talk further with this, and it does more watts. So it just depends on what you want to do. Both of these brand new go for about the same price, about $120 to $140. And for a good starter radio, brand new out of the box, that's what you're looking at coming out. So hopefully this helps you getting an amateur radio. It's a good hobby. It's a fun hobby. It's an expensive hobby. Okay, it's an expensive hobby. But you can talk all around the world. You can meet a lot of people. There's a lot of interesting things that happens on amateur radio. It's not only just talking. You can do PSK 31, you can send pictures over radio, you can broadcast TV over radio. There's a lot of different things you could do, but for the most part, I do like PSK 31, but my main thing is actually getting there and talking to people. So anyways, hey, thanks for watching the video. Let me know if you have any more questions about ham radio and types of radios and stuff like that. So 73.